Hey, a premier team. I need one. Okay, I need y'all help and his help to pick one. I ain't gonna talk too much. Let's get it.
Well, hello there, my fellow American.
What's up?
I know that we are in the passionate throes of the NFL season. And
Man.
for some of you, your team is killing it. You drafted Devin A.
My team ain't killing it. My team is fucking ass. Alright, so come on.
Chain for your fantasy team, and life is good.
No.
But I'm pretty sure that's only a few of you. Because let's be honest, for most of it all, your team is already letting you down.
Yes.
I mean, Jets fans, you're useless, but Patriots fans, I know that you are not useless. You are not properly inoculated against this level of suck. And if you're like me in fantasy, half your starters are already on your IR. So for all my homies whose seasons already ended before they ever started, I have the remedy for you. I present to you the NFL of Europe, the Premier League. And since, coincidentally, their season starts right around the same time as the NFL, we have gotten enough of a sample size to see who are the pretenders and who are the contenders. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick Spartan Notes overview on all the juicy storylines, big-time players, and the surprise teams of the year so far. And hopefully, by the end of all this, I'll have you primed and ready.
That was Saka. Saka. Yeah, I fought with him. I play him on FIFA. Hey, that nigga good, low-key. Hey, he may be young, but hey, that nigga good.
To bandwagon a team in the Premier League for the 2023-2024 season, because you deserve it, Chicago Bears fans. Before we get into the good teams,
I'm a Chiefs
let's talk
fan.
about the meme teams. By meme teams, I'm talking about historically good, perennial top four, powerhouse clubs that have hoisted the Premier League trophy many a time, but so far this season have sucked utter dog shit. And to make this translate for Americans, I'll use a couple of video game analogies. First up are my beloved Manchester United. Yes, I am a fan. Yes, I am biased. And the way that I look at Manchester United is they are like that one gaming studio that just used to be magical. Game after game, they couldn't miss. Simply amazing. They never let you down. But then, they got bought out by some greedy corporate fucks. They cared more about making money than the product that they ended up giving you. So basically, they're Blizzard. Or more accurately, Blizzard Activision. Because before Activision, they
Fuck Activision, alright? Fuck them. I hate them. I want my money back, by the way.
were untouchable in the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, come on. StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Diablo 2? Bruh. That was basically the class of 92. But now with their new fucking greedy-ass owners, the brand name has been driven right into the ground. Yes, there's been a couple of hopeful seasons here and there, but never anything close to approaching the glory days of the 2000s and 90s. And now this year, half of their starting roster has been hurt. The players that are actually healthy.
Do I know these people? Go back.
Couple of hopeful seasons here and there, but never anything close to approaching the glory days of the 2000s and 90s. And now this year...
Hell no, I don't know none of these people. They got new players. Oh shit.
Half of their starting roster has been hurt. The players that are actually healthy have been playing like shit. And their new keeper is a literal meme generator. He's had more memes than saves this year. And what's crazy is I still believe in this manager. I think he actually knows his shit. He's a protege of Pep Guardiola. And if you want to know more, I go into painstaking detail about it in this video up, and I think it's right here. But the skinny of it is, expectations were sky high after a shock third place finish last year. And what has been a kick to the nuts is this season is pretty much over before it even started. We're toiling in mid-table, in dead rock bottom of the group in Champions League. It is sobering to realize that this is going to be yet another rebuild year in a decade of rebuild years. And if it stays like this, we'll be lucky even to make top 6. It's back to the banter era.
Okay.
Of Man United. And then we have Chelsea Football Club. And Chelsea is like if you made an American 12-year-old play FIFA Career Mode for the first time. And they just wanted to buy all the best young high potential players. So they turned on the unlimited budget, but they forgot they were playing on Legendary. Yes, he's got the money. He's got all the young high potential players. But it might not be until FIFA 26 where his skill level is good enough for him to win. Their new American owner, Todd Bowley, has spent over $1 billion on this team, and they somehow look worse than they did last year.
Damn.
When I originally wrote this piece, they had won one game the entirety of the season. They were 2 points out of the relegation zone, and their only win came against fellow relegation fighters, Luton Town, a team whose away end looks like this. Looks like Detroit And what's crazy is this team just 3 years ago.
Hey, hold it now. You ain't gonna talk about Detroit like that. I know Detroit is a bad town, but goddamn, man. Goddamn. You said they look like Detroit.
Was the best team in Europe. Yeah, not too long ago, they were challenging for the Premier League. But since Roman Abramovich was forced to sell the team because Putin attacked Ukraine, Chelsea has absolutely cratered into the ground. At this point, it's hard to say which overwhelming force has been utterly destroyed harder by underdogs, Chelsea or Russia. And actually, if you think about it, the similarities are uncanny. Both have way more firepower, both have spent way more money, and both have racist fans. But jokes aside, I honestly thought that with the amount of talent that they had bought over the last 3 windows, that it would be inconceivable that they wouldn't improve. They hired Mauricio Pochettino, who I personally don't rate, but the man took Spurs to second place in the Premier League not too long ago. Yet here they are, just as shit as ever. I guess you can kind of blame injuries, but unlike Man United, this team actually has depth. They have too many good players. It's impressive that they haven't found a way to win. There's a similar theme between the mean teams. It's that shit ownership will spoil the bunch. And it seems like Bowley and the Glazers are rotten to the core. And until they are cut out, like the tumors they are, the cancer will spread to every limb and orifice of this organization. Which is why I still have a little bit of hope for Manchester United, because they might actually be sold within the next year. But Chelsea fans, you're fucked. But hey, at least Mudryk finally scored. So you can finally stop seeing those 007 memes. Like, Jesus Christ, that meme was going on for so long. It was like 0032. Alright, now you know who to laugh at the rest of the season. Which honestly, these days, was just as important than choosing a team to root for.
So, I'm not picking this team, for sure. Not picking.
But before we get into the odds-on favorites, the front runners, let's give something for all the cool kids in the back. Who are all the football hipsters, the Premier League connoisseurs, supporting this year? Well, these 3 teams have emerged as kind of the breakouts, the dark horses of the season so far. Now, let me preface this. They're probably not going to win the league. In fact, there's no guarantee that they'll be good by the end of the year. But if you want to support the Miami Dolphins of the Premier League this year, these 3 teams are the new hotness. And first up, it's got to be them. It's Brighton. Brighton Hove Albion. And really, this isn't new hotness. This is just continued hotness. This is the Megan Fox of hotness. Because they are like some algorithm nerd who's playing Football Manager in real life. Like, I mean, they are just scouting random South American children, college students from Japan, and Barcelona rejects to create just a delightful Isle of Misfit Toys.
I thought he was good.
They are somehow playing Moneyball in an era where Moneyball...
I thought he was good. I seen he signed a big contract, some shit.
Rhythm nerd who's playing Football Manager in real life. Like, I mean, they are just scouting random South American children, college students from Japan, and Barcelona.
I thought this nigga was good. I see him on ESPN, the FC. He signed a big contract with Barcelona. Now he play for Brighton. He a reject. Man, hey, I don't know the news. Y'all gotta let me know. Damn, he a reject?
Rejects to create just a delightful Isle of Misfit Toys. They are somehow playing Moneyball in an era where Moneyball wasn't even possible anymore. Their owner, who's been a lifelong fan of Brighton, comes from a background in sports betting and data analysis. And whatever cutting-edge algorithm he's been using has transformed Brighton's recruitment department into not just the best in the Premier League, but quite possibly the best in the world right now. Yeah, I said it. While the Man Cities and Real Madrids of the world have bigger budgets, none of these teams are buying players for a handful of millions and turning around and selling them for £100 million just a couple seasons later. And their manager, Roberto De Zerbi, has just been shattering the football meta for the last year. He's that one dude in League of Legends who just counterpicks the right champion at the right time. He's been taking these kids and just giant slaying the best that the Premier League has to offer, all with a fraction of their budget. People just ain't ready for the unorthodox style of this team. A team who was only promoted in 2017 and are now seemingly challenging for a top 6 position for many years to come. They're recruiting, managing, and playing football the right way. It's beautiful, attractive, often dazzling football to watch. And with a lovable cast of characters, if you're just looking for an underdog story to support this year, this is it. This is the one team that all the neutrals are rooting for. It's Brighton. Even I have fallen victim to the charm. I made an entire video profiling one of their players, Kaoru Mitoma, who literally wrote his college thesis paper on how to dribble. The man studied his way to becoming a professional winger in the Premier League, which is the most Asian shit I've ever heard of. But yeah, easily the number 1 hipster pick. It's Brighton. Next on the list are the villains. Now let me take you back to where Aston Villa was just a year ago. Now Aston Villa, at this point last year, were one position above the bottom of the league. They were 19th out of 20. They had won 1 game and lost 4. And by midseason, they looked all but relegated. They knew they had to change something. So they fired Steven Gerrard, who fucked off to Sallyland, and is now doing weird promos like this.
Anna, Steven Gerrard. Anna El Etifaki. See you soon.
And then said good evening to Unai Emery, who has overseen a miraculous turnaround of Aston Villa. Now Unai, and this is going to sound like an insult, and I'm going to try to make it as complimentary as possible, but he's never really been able to cut it at the highest level. Whenever he's managed a big team like PSG or Arsenal, it just hasn't gone super well. Right? It's gone okay, but he's gotten far to both. Now, when it comes to managing a mid-table team, though, my man is a fucking wizard. You might even call him the Europa League master. For those who are unfamiliar, the Europa League is basically the little brother league, or the D2 version of the Champions League. And Unai Emery is amazing at winning it. My dude won 3 Europa League titles with Sevilla, made the Europa League final with Arsenal, then went back to Spain and won yet another Europa League title with Villarreal. And this wasn't all against scrub teams, he beat the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United. And now he's working his Spanish magic all over the villains. Or should I say, Aston Villa. Remember what I said about Unai being a mid-table killer? Well, so far, Aston Villa have been the only team to figure Brighton out this year. A Brighton team, that I forgot to mention this when I was talking about them, have scored the most goals of any team in the Premier League this year. They got decimated 6-1 by the villains. That's who Unai is, man. Sometimes you're just the paper to counter rock. And Unai is the meta breaker for the meta breakers. So if you want a mid-table team that's going to grab a lot of sneaky wins, punch above their weight, and when people ask you which Premier League team you support, you get to say, oh, the ass-ton villains. Then this is the team for you. And for my third surprise team of the season, honestly, it's the most shocking of all, because it's Spurs. Tottenham should not be here. And by that I mean, I had zero faith, absolute zero, that they would do anything positive this year, because they were completely hopeless last season. Then to start this year, they sold the second greatest goal scorer in Premier League history. And simply, throughout their entire history, they have been a perpetual afterthought of a top 4 team.
Top Spur? No. What's that?
When they were looking for a coach, they didn't get any of the hottest names in the managerial market. In fact, by most accounts, they settled on their second, maybe even third choice in an Australian, Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, I'm sure you've never heard of him too. Most of this roster is pretty much the same for the team that disappointed last year, and their only big name purchase was James Maddison, who came from a Leicester team that just got relegated. There was zero optimism from their fan base heading into this year. And I personally...
Okay, relegated. That mean that got kicked out of the Premier League, right? Damn. You got kicked out of the Premier League? Y'all must be ass. Jesus Christ.
A little time on them as possible in the previous show because they just always find a way, a new way to disappoint. But then the season started, and they just kept on fucking winning. In fact, as of recording this, they're undefeated, besting the likes of Liverpool, Manchester United, and tying Arsenal to put themselves, let me check, top of the league over Manchester City. This is nothing short of an act of God. Now, the 3 Postecoglou truthers that are going to watch this video should have said that we all saw this coming because the man has succeeded pretty much at every team he's coached. But I have to believe that not even them thought that he would take the Premier League by storm like this. The Aussie has completely transformed Spurs, taking an underperforming but talented roster and fitting them into a system that has sensu beamed this roster back into fantastic form. James Maddison has always been considered a quality player at Leicester, but now, with an elevated cast around him, he is now playing his way into becoming England's first choice number 10. The defensive midfielder Basuma is now becoming the sentinel that we thought he was going to become under Antonio Conte. And the front 3 of Richarlison, Kulusevski, and the kimchi god himself, Heung-min Son, have somehow looked more dangerous now than they did with Harry Kane. And all of this is thanks to Big Ange.
Hold up. Okay. I know Harry Kane big name. I watched the World Cup now. So they don't got what team Harry Kane on now? If you're not on this team. Oh, hey, y'all didn't catch me up. If you watch this, catch me up. I don't care how long the comment section is. Just catch me up. Jesus Christ.
If you look at his past, Postecoglou has pretty much been the second choice and doubted wherever he's gone his entire career. Because he doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't come from a part of the world. He hasn't coached in a part of the world that people respect when it comes to football. He made his bones coming up in Australia and coaching in the Asian leagues. And because of that, this has allowed a sleeping monster to grow, develop, right underneath the noses of Europe. And now, through maybe just dumb pure luck, Spurs has stumbled onto maybe the next great managerial talent in world football. The man is looking like Australian Alex Ferguson. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, okay? At the end of the day, it's still Spurs, and the season is very young. Plus, this roster, while talented, is incredibly thin. But there is no denying what is happening at Tottenham is special. And I can't believe that I'm going to be saying this, but Tottenham fans should be hopeful. And for neutral Americans, if you want to root for the Chicago Cubs of Premier League football, this is your team. But I come with fair warning, they're probably going to fuck it up still. Now, I have one more honorable mention, and that is Newcastle. Because these motherfuckers beat Man City and cracked PSG's cheeks in the Champions League 4-1 in the same week. Man, what the fuck were they on? But they're just an honorable mention because I always talk about them pretty much. Ball. This is your team. But I come with fair warning, they're probably going to fuck it up still. Now, I have one more honorable mention, and that is Newcastle. Because these motherfuckers beat Man City and cracked PSG's cheeks in the Champions League 4-1 in the same week. Man, what the fuck were they on? But they're just an honorable mention because I always talk about them pretty much any bandwagon video for the last 3 years. So let's get into it. The top 3 teams that I'll be recommending my filthy casual Americans to bandwagon this year. And coming in at number 3 is Liverpool. Because Liverpool are back, baby. This has been a complete inverse of how they started last season. They have sprung out of the gate with a shiny new retooled midfield. They're healthy with Luis Diaz back. Cody Gakpo has proven who we thought he was at the World Cup. And they have carried the momentum of their 18-game unbeaten streak leading all the way back from last season. This has led them this year into dicing up motherfuckers like it's Benihana. Their new creative midfielder, Szoboszlai, has been dazzling so far. He hit a goal the other day that could have decapitated a small child. I mean, just look at this thing. God. The man should be tested for lead in his foot. Now, they are only at 3 because they still have a couple issues. While they fixed their midfield, they bought about 0 depth for the defensive line. And newsflash, Trent Alexander-Arnold is still a training code on defense. And as bad as VVD was last year, if he were to go down, this defense could go from okay to absolute shambles rather quick. And as we're recording this, the injury bug has kind of sneaked in. Gakpo went down in the loss to Tottenham, which, side note, that's a game they should have won. But the problem is the British haven't figured out instant replay yet. Still, even with my questions about their defense, they might just score so many goals that it might not even matter. If you want to support a classic, historic franchise that play exciting, rapid attacking football, Liverpool is the team for you. Also, LeBron James owns part of it. So if you're a LeBron James hater, now you know the team to hate. Now coming in at number 2, it's so far so good for Arsenal. They look pretty much like the team from last season that should have won the league. Their new 100-pound signing Declan Rice has been a notable upgrade for them in the midfield, even bagging a few late game winners. Saka continues to do his shy boy assassin shit, and Mikel Arteta finally got his first win over his former master, Pep Guardiola. It took a lucky-ass deflection to do it, but winning's winning. And in fact, in the big moments against the biggest teams this year, Arsenal have looked like they had the belief that they possess the clutch gene. The issue is that they also looked the same way last year, and then they faded down the final stretch. But let's give the lads some credit. They do not look an ounce discouraged about how they finished last year. In fact, they are quickly proving that last season is not going to be a one-season wonder. No, they're building something special at Arsenal right now. And with them possessing one of the youngest squads in the league, it's terrifying to think that they still haven't reached their potential. There's just so many young, fantastic, exciting players here. Saliba kept Erling Haaland in his pocket the entirety of the match. Martin Odegaard looking like a young Mesut Ozil out there. And all of them looking hungrier than ever. But they are at number 2 because at the end of the day, they're trying to be an imitation of the GOAT. And there's no shame in that. If you're going to model your game after someone else, model it after the best. And they're a great imitation at that. The way I like it, they're Digimon. The problem is, Man City is Pokemon. Digimon's nice, but Pokemon is the franchise. And that's why they're at number 1. Listen, it's still Man City's world, and we're just all living in it. For those who just want to bandwagon the best team, if you want the Kansas City Chiefs of the Premier League, if you want a team...
Hey, no talk about my Chiefs like that. Right now, we having a hard season. Kansas, we having a hard time. No talk about my team like that. Yes, we good and all. I make you a pick Man City, because you said that. Because I like winners. I may bandwagon Man City.
that every Saturday, you know that when you wake up, that you can consistently count on them to win and score a bunch of goals doing it. All the while having the next generational possible GOAT-type player on their squad, it's Man City. It's hands down. No one can even get close. Before this past weekend, they hadn't lost 2 games in a row in 5 years. They had something crazy, like they only lost like 3 games last season. Even with losing quality players like Ilya Gundogan in free agency, and they're all universe number 10 and Kevin De Bruyne to a long-term injury this year, they still look like they're going to win the league. In fact, they won the treble last year. Only the second team in Premier League history to do it. And nobody would be surprised if they do it again this year. And Erling Haaland broke the single-season record for goals scored in a Premier League season, essentially as a rookie. And he showed no signs of stopping, because Baby Thor is the real fucking deal. Oh, and to top it off with that, this team is backed by oil money, so they can afford basically to field 2 world-class teams. This is a disgusting franchise. They are the Golden State Warriors in their prime. You remember when all the big names would just join them to chase a ring? That's what this is. Because they are not just the best team in England. They are the best team in the world right now. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. They might have bigger names. They definitely have more footballing heritage. But they are not the juggernauts they used to be. All of them got some good young talents on their squads. But they're not in their prime like Man City is right now. And what's scary is they have the money and youth to carry them into the next decade of domination. So what I'm trying to say is, to my American fans, to my Jets fans, to all my Detroit Lions fans, for all my homies that have never known a franchise that wasn't ass since before the time you were born, do yourself a favor and just support Man City. Just spoil yourself with the most OP, and I'm talking like spamming legendaries on Pokemon Showdown type team. Because this is pretty much the easy mode of Prem teams. And I don't want to hear that they're not top of the league right now. They weren't top of the league most of last year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've seen how they played down the stretch for the last 5 years. These motherfuckers close harder than Usain Bolt. So yeah, if you've been a fan of a long-suffering franchise, or you just have a lot of shit going on in your life, and you want to just feel good about something every Saturday and occasional Wednesday, support Man City. But everybody else, this is the easy mode of the Premier League. Choose someone else. And that is pretty much going to be my guide to who to bandwagon in the Premier League this season. Personally, if I was a newbie, my top 2 choices, if you're a little bit more hipster, you go Brighton. If you're more of a classic man, then you go Liverpool. But that's just because I think those 2 play the most entertaining styles of all the teams that I mentioned. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you to all my patrons. Keep me alive and well during these troubling times. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, smush your hard nipple into that like button. And once again, a shout out to Lewis to help me edit this video. You're the real MVP. And yeah.
Alright, okay. It's between Liverpool Man City okay, Liverpool or Man City. I'm going to react to some of the videos to Man City and Liverpool, see if I like their vibes. Because I like to win. I don't like to lose now. Hey. I see LeBron is a part owner of Liverpool, but Dubai got the money from Man City. Hey, I like organizations that can build in the future. Okay, and Man City, they got the Dubai people backing them, and they got a lot of money. Hey, cause the couple names he's named, like Chelsea, and like they be firing their coaches and shit. And nah, that mean the organization can't hire good people, or they don't got the money to hire new players. Hey, I may go with Liverpool or Man City. I may let y'all pick. But me personally, I'm going to watch videos on Man City and Liverpool, see which one I like the most. And I would let y'all know who I like the most. I'll see y'all in the next one.